Hi, I'm Jeremy, and today I'm going to show you an abstract strategy game published by Cosmos in Germany by the name of 7 Steps. This game is co-designed by Michael Kiesling and Reinhard Staupe. It plays in about 30 minutes for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up. It's a game where you're going to be placing colored discs onto a board of various heights in hopes of scoring the most points. I'll take a moment to show you how it works, and then I'll come back here and give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so here we have what might look like a playfield a few turns into a 2-player game of 7 steps. You'll notice that the board here is made up of these 7 modular tiles, which have an array of colors on each of them. These tiles are also 2-sided. You could play a basic game where each tile is going to be all one color, but I would suggest playing with this side. It's just more strategic and more interesting as a game. And these could be arranged in this basic configuration, or there are variants that are suggested in the rulebook that would allow for alternate board setups. So just some examples there. And I should mention that this game does have German rules, and it does have German cards. The cards in the game are these little tiles, which are in German. I printed up some English cards. I just did a translation of those. Translations for these, however, are available on Board Game Geek, so you could easily print that. And for how few cards you draw during the game, you could easily get by with just a cheat sheet as opposed to going and printing up cards. But in any case, this is how the game is going to work. Essentially, on your turn, you'll notice each player has a play shield, and they'll have 7 discs behind that. On a turn, what you could do is you could add discs to the board. So the way that will work is that you have to place your first disc. So let's say I want to place this yellow disc as the first, as on the lowest row available for that color. So for example, yellow is still on the 0 level, so I'd have to place a level 1 yellow by doing that. And then each subsequent disc that you place has to be on the same level or higher. And you can make a chain of colors, so you can switch colors freely. So for example, from this level 1, I could go onto level 2 here with purple, level 2 here with yellow, just building on the disc that's already there. And here we have 2 beige discs. I could place a level 3 one there, then we have 3 here. I could place a level 4 one here. Now I do have an orange disc here, but this is down on level 1, so I would not be able to go down there. And the way you're going to score each turn is you're going to score points equal to the level of the disc that you're placing it. So here we have a level 1, so that's 1 point, 2 points, 4 points, so that's a total of 5 points, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you'll just score the points. There's a scoring track here. So I would go from 10 to 22 over there. The scoring track comes with these little 40 chits. It goes to 40. If ever you lap it, you just take one of these so you can keep track of how many times you've gone around the scoring track. And after you've made your placement, you will be able to, first of all, discard out any tokens that you have left over that you may not want to keep, and then you can draw up to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that would end your turn. Then, the next player would go and play some discs, and then it would be, back to my turn. And let's say I didn't have an especially good move. Let's say I went here for 1 point, or better yet, here for 1 point, here for 2, 3 points, here for 4, 5 points, and then here for 6, 7 points. And there I would not be able to go any further because I do not have a black disc, and everything else around there is level 1. If ever you earn 7 or fewer points during a turn, then you're going to be able to take one of these cards. There are 2 types of cards. There are points cards and there are placement cards, and these will be able to augment one of your moves. So for example, this points card would be a good example. Here, if you play this at the end of a turn, you'll get 2 points per disc of the color most played. So if you make a big move where you play a lot of purple or what have you, you'll get 2 points for each of those that you're going to get played during that round. Here you get 1 point for each color played, so that rewards variety. Here you could place a point for each disc that's placed along the edge of the board. And for example, here you could get 5 points if you manage to place a red or a purple disc on level 3 of a stack. I should note that if ever you get a stack all the way up to 7, that stack will get disassembled, and one piece from each from those 7 pieces will get redistributed to the other 7 spaces of that color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each purple would get 1 disc from that. These placement cards, which you can also take, and you can only ever hold 1 placement card and 1 point card at a time. If ever you have to draw another one and you haven't spent the other cards, you'll have to discard one out without using it. And the placement cards allow you to manipulate the board. So some example, remove 1 or 2 discs from the board and place them back in the bag. Or you may move 1 disc from one spot to another spot of the same color. Or you may stack an empty spot of the same color, or move a stack to an empty spot of the same color, or you could swap the locations of 2 stacks of the same color. So these just allow you to manipulate the board to set up scoring opportunities for yourself. At the end of the game, which happens when the bag of discs runs out and a player cannot refill, that would trigger the end of the game, and you just finish out the current round. So the start player would go, and then it would go to the last player until people have had an equal number of turns. At the end of that, you will just score the points you've earned during the game, as well as 2 points for any unused card. The player with the most points will win. Okay, so that is 7 Steps, and this is a really great game for people who like abstract games or puzzle games. I think that there's some element of luck in it, which reduces the amount of analysis that you're going to have to do during your turn. You could basically only make moves with the pieces that you've drawn, but the game does a lot to mitigate that luck. The option at the end of your turn to discard tiles of a color that you don't want, and then hopefully drawing different colors, is really great. It helps you feel like you don't have a terrible draw usually. Also, you get those point cards, which both give you short-term goals to go for, which is nice because it changes your strategy, and you have to make tactical decisions based on the cards that you draw. And also those placement cards, which you could really use to set yourself up for big scorings. And the worst case scenario is if you get a card that you can't really use, it could be 2 points at the end of the game. So the game, even though it has like this very simple abstract element at the core of it, it has a lot of small little rules and small little strategic choices that you can make in it that will vary it up a lot. So it plays a little bit more with a little bit more variety than most abstract games of this type. I will note that these 2-sided tiles, if you play on this basic side with all the colors being the same, the game tends to really favor drawing a lot of the same color in a way that it doesn't when you play with these tiles that have the distribution of colors on them. Here it's a lot harder to just get a run of the same color and make a run on the board, which could happen in this side. So I wouldn't recommend this side especially. It makes it easier, but maybe to the game's detriment. But in general, this is really something that, as you play it and as you set up clever moves and get 5 or 6 points per tile that you place, you're going to really start to feel a sense of accomplishment. It rewards good planning, and it's a lot of fun. I would say it's more engaging than the average abstract game. It's something that I've really enjoyed playing, and I've never felt the need, even though it does have this modular board, to change that basic setup with all the pieces in the cluster. So I feel like this game's going to have a lot of legs for me. It's something I look forward to exploring more. And I've played it with 2 players, and I've played it with 4 players, and it plays great at either count. So overall, I think this is a real winner. It is 7 Steps, and those are my thoughts on it. So thank you for watching.